I'm Joel Pereira and this right here is the all-new GT Continental from Royal Enfield. Unlike other Enfields you'll find, this is nothing like what your father rode. In fact, this is your grandfather's motorcycle, if he was cool.
It's called the Continental GT and it's unlike anything you will see out there on the roads in India. Clip-on handlebars, huge modern disc brakes from Brembo, a low-down riding position and a single seat. Under that seat you won't find a water-cooled parallel or a V-twin. What you've got is a big single cylinder that wouldn't look out of place on a motorcycle from the 60s.
Now this motorcycle might look a little weird to your 21st century eye, a bit like a mashup between a sports bike and a single-cylinder vintage British motorcycle. And in a strange way, that's exactly what it is. Allow me to provide you some context.
First, you need to rewind back to the 50s and the early 60s, back when the United Kingdom was ground zero of motorcycle design and engineering. If you were a working class kid with a little money in your pocket, you went out and you bought a motorcycle. Options included such grand names such as Norton, Triumph and of course Royal Enfield. Now since this was the 60s, slightly before things like Twitter and sexting, your evenings could be a little boring. So you went down to the Transport Cafe, essentially the British equivalent of a dhaba, and hung out with your other biker friends. Now since we are talking about kids with motorcycles, it would have only been a matter of time before someone suggested that the bikes parked outside should be raced. And that's exactly what they did. They raced them from cafe to cafe. Soon modifications started being made to make the bikes faster. Handlebars were shortened to reflect the racing motorcycles of the time. Engines were souped up and all unnecessary bits like back seat for instance were discarded. Enter the Cafe Racer. Responding to the DIYers in grimy London garages, British Royal Enfield back in 1965 launched the Continental GT, a fresh out-of-the-box cafe racer. But then times changed. The rockers who rode these bikes became grocers and bankers, and that time was only preserved in black and white memories. Until now.
And so Royal Enfield, with their huge appreciation for the past, has modernized the cafe racer concept, bringing it to the 21st century. Because kids these days, they're bored with sexting and Twitter, and they want to play. And this right here is a great toy. Under me is a 535cc single-cylinder air-cooled engine that's putting out 29 bhp and 44 newtons of torque.
Now considering it's supposed to be a sporty bike, the GT is not especially fast. Not in the monstrous way a modern 500cc motorcycle will be, but fast enough when you're riding around in its natural habitat, the city. Yet this motorcycle will hit 100 pretty quickly and seems capable enough for you to stay there all day. We pushed the bike hard to come to a top speed and did reach about 120. But then we were riding this motorcycle in the narrow two-lane highways of Goa, not an ideal place for this type of shenanigan. We get the feeling it will go faster. What we didn't enjoy so much were the vibrations, especially at lower speeds, but it smooths out as soon as you hit the higher gears. What you will enjoy is the soundtrack this engine provides. This is a quick revving engine, and unlike other RE motorcycles, the exhaust is less thump and more rip.
Now you will find yourself revving this bike constantly even at slow speeds, if nothing than just to entertain and amuse yourself and innocent bystanders. Now attached to this engine is a 5-speed smooth shifting gearbox, and let me tell you, in the 400 odd kilometers I rode this bike, I have not even got one false shift.
What you will also appreciate about this motorcycle is the way it handles. This is the best handling Royal Enfield ever built, and coming from a brand of motorcycles known for their stability, this is high praise. Now the frame of the Continental GT has been designed by Steve Harris of Harris Engineering, and it shows. The low-down riding stance does allow you to really lean into corners, and with the Pirelli Speed Demon tires wrapped around very handsome alloy spoke wheels, this bike will take you there. Adding to the overall sense of well-being is the huge 300mm Brembo disc brake in the front, along with a 240mm one in the rear, something we really appreciated when confronted with all the livestock in Goa that uses the national highway as a place to chill.
A word of warning though, this is not a bike designed for long distance riding but rather for short, sharp urban trips. Now the thing is that the forward leaning position and the narrow contoured seats are going to conspire to wreck both your wrists and your ass if you attempt anything more than 100 kilometers in a shot.
Now, considering that the Continental GT is a recreational motorcycle from the 60s, attention to detail is going to matter hugely, and this is where Royal Enfield mostly succeed. This is a handsome motorcycle from any angle, with classic motorcycle touches like the round chrome headlamp and the sculpted slim tank really adding to its overall sense of style. You've got puffed aluminium clutch and brake levers that feel great on your fingers, as well as a tiny but superbly crafted and surprisingly functional bar end mounted mirrors. The bikes we've been testing today are all single-seaters with a hump end, but there is an option for a pillion seat. In this day and age of graphics and cowls and bikini fairings, the Continental GT is a stylish yet honest motorcycle. People will look at you as you ride past. Now, alongside the test drive was also the launch of this motorcycle, which means that we know how much it costs. Now, if you live in Delhi, it can be yours for 2,05,000 rupees. If you live in Mumbai with all its extra taxes, that'll go up to 2,15,000. The question is, should you buy this motorcycle? Now, for that kind of money, you'll get great capable bikes like the CBR 250 or the KTM 390, and history and homage are fine. But the thing is that when you buy this, you're also buying into a proven sense of cool. Now, if you imagine yourself riding around your main drag in your leather jacket and your pudding bowl helmet and a rocker snarl on your face, it kind of becomes worth it.